if you're not willing to make those changes, then I should walk away because we did everything that we can do. But I find that often we don't do that. We take everything but that step. And we're like, he's going to say this, she's going to say that, so I'm out.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
and nothing's
you
resolved.
didn't do the best that you could. And I'm not even, it's not because, I just want to make this one last point. It's not about that one particular partner, that one particular relationship. As I said earlier, we are creatures of habit. What do you think you're going to do in the next relationship? When you think you see hardship again, you're likely going to run if you ran the last time.
RJ, with this moving past a toxic relationship, I have one more question.
Sure.
And I guess what I always struggle with in relationships is, do I go through that process with the person, or do I break off with them, right? Do I say, you know what, I need to go and find myself and go through some therapy, let's take a break? Or do I say, you know what, we're learning on the job, let's figure this out, let's go to therapy together, right? And we'll try to figure it out together. And I think for me, that has always been a struggle to determine what's the best way to move past these bad relationships, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Beautiful question. I often say that most people, especially if they're dating or married, that they come to therapy too late. They come when one person is already mentally and emotionally checked out. And so it's almost impossible to reconcile.
Wow.
That's been my lived experience. I'm not saying everybody, but my lived experience, when most people come for couples, it's kind of too late already. So
yeah,
I like to encourage people to come sooner, number one. And number two, when you think about couples, I don't even like to take couples like right off the bat. I like to get them individually, usually whoever reached out first. And the reason why is because sometimes when you get two people to sit down next to each other, they're not fully being honest, and they're used to being maybe somewhat dishonest or just hiding things from each other.
Yes.
Maybe due to discomfort, maybe they're worried about being ashamed or something.
Or just more combative. I've had a
right. That could happen too.
Very more, because we have an audience now, right? And
it could be like, oh well, he's gonna referee us. Like, no, yes. I mean, I'm here to intervene, but it's more about trying to mediate. We're trying to understand what's going on here.
Yes.
And so I usually recommend that, come sooner, so that way we can really start to understand, like, why did you reach out? What is going on? What are you guys having any issues with right now? And then when you talk about like, sort of, when should I make the determination, should we stay or should we go? Well, I'm a huge believer in, a lot of times we quit too early, and we prematurely quit, meaning we don't actually articulate what the things are that are bothering us to allow that person to respond either verbally or with their actions. And so to me, that is the difference between should I stay or should I go? Because if we're in a relationship and you have been disrespectful to me for the vast majority of our relationship, and I sit down and I say, Sean, I'm tired of this. Listen, over the course of our relationship, it wasn't always like this, but I've noticed over the years, it's been harder and harder for me to want to sit with you, to listen to you, because I feel like so many times you belittle me, you shame me, you make me feel bad about myself, you make me feel insignificant, and I don't like it. And I would really appreciate it if you'd stop, right? And I say those things, and then you proceed afterwards, you agree. Let's just say in this scenario, you agree. And then you proceed afterwards to go right back to where you were. It is at that point that I understand I gave the person the opportunity to make a change. I cannot change them because we don't control anybody but us. I cannot change them, but I gave them the opportunity to hear how I felt and what bothered me so that they could make the decision if they wanted to change or not based on what I shared. If they decide not to, then I should go.
Yeah. Or my words, toodaloo.
Sure. Whatever works.
Toodaloo. I gotta let you go. Oh my God. RJ, I love it. And so what you recommend really is early prevention, right?
Yes.
But
be proactive.
Be proactive, right? Be proactive in your relationships. But and I'm happy you answered this. But if you are in a relationship, right, still go by yourself. And I think that was great, just to get that out there, even for me. I mean, because when you're in those relationships, you're really at a crossroad where it's like, what do I focus on, me, or do I focus on this?
Yeah. It's a fair question to ask. I'll give you an extremely current example to further make that point. I have a current client who is pursuing a new person, or the person is pursuing them. They're trying to pursue a relationship with each other, and things are going, talking about pacing, rather
Yeah.
quickly, based on my perception.
Yeah.
But they were both open to doing couples therapy.
Okay.
And some people may look at that and think that's kind of strange to be like in a new relationship and already be going to therapy. But I contradicted that. And I said, no, I actually think it's healthier
Yes.
because you actually are valuing some perspective, not because I know everything, because I don't.
Yeah.
You're welcoming perspective into how we're approaching trying to merge these two lives together, right? Especially when you're talking about those of us that are a little bit older, maybe we have other things that we have going on in our lives, so it's not as smooth to just intertwine things as when you're younger. So if you're willing to welcome in that insight, then we're probably increasing the likelihood and the probability that this thing can work, because we took our time again to be thoughtful and intentional about how we went about it, versus what I told you most people do when they come to me, which is at the end. Yes. When I talk to the other person or they submit their documentation to me and I can point blank see that they're already looking to get out.
Yes,
and that honestly, as a therapist, it's really hurtful to have to see that. When you see somebody who is fighting so hard to want something and the other person who is completely at the other end of the spectrum.
I can imagine it's hard on you, but I would imagine it's harder on the person trying to break up.
Of course. No, it is. No, it is. It's just, it's hard for me because, like I said, I think there's a lot of situations that we don't have to quit on or we don't have to walk away from. But because of the choices that we make, we kind of put ourselves in these lose-lose scenarios where I can't make it work with them. I can't make it work with them. So therefore, I must leave because it's about being a healthier version of me. Well, that second part could be true, but I challenged that first part. Did you really communicate to that person to make sure that your needs were being met? Did you help them understand, like we did in that scenario a moment ago, how the things that you say and what you do make me feel? That I give you that option and that opportunity to express all of those things. And then after I've taken that opportunity and I've shared with you how I felt and you made decisions, if you're not willing to make those changes, then I should walk away because we did everything that we can do. But I find that often we don't do that. We take everything but that step. And we're like, you know, he's going to say this, she's going to say that. So I'm out. And I'm like,
and nothing's resolved.
You didn't do the best that you could. And I'm not even, it's not because, I just want to make this one last point. It's not about that one particular partner, that one particular relationship. As I said earlier, we are creatures of habit. What do you think you're going to do in the next relationship? When you think you see hardship again, you're likely going to run if you ran the last time. That's why you need to be challenged. That's why your thinking needs to evolve. Because if you don't change your behavior, you're doomed to repeat the same cycles. That is the problem.
I agree. Oh God, I feel like I'm having a real therapy session here, RJ. You touching on some serious things in my life.